Hello, my name is Elizabeth Jones and I'm an Oklahoma 4-H chemist. Today we will be learning about Christmas trees. In the United States, approximately 25 to 30 million real Christmas trees are sold each year. There are approximately 30 Christmas tree farms across Oklahoma. Most of these farms are choose and cut operations. This means customers select the Christmas tree they want and they'll cut it down themselves or they'll have somebody cut it down for them. Trees bought from choose and cut farms are fresher than trees bought from the store or lots, so they'll last longer. It can take 5 to 6 years for a Christmas tree to grow to the preferred height of 6 to 8 feet. The seedlings are planted from December to March. Christmas trees need lots of space to grow, so farmers must plant the seedlings at a minimum of 6 feet apart. Growers must manage weed control, insects, and disease control, and tree shaping to ensure the Christmas tree properly grows. Trees do not grow in the conical shape of a Christmas tree without help. Shearing, or sometimes referred to as shaping, is one of the most time-consuming parts of production process. Shearing helps create a balanced, symmetrical form, full and compact foliage, and proper taper. The location of Christmas tree farms can determine if the farm will be successful or not. If farms are closer to larger populations, they tend to be more successful. Land that is flat to slightly rolling hills tend to be best suited for Christmas tree production. The site of the farm should also be protected from the wind. Oklahoma winds can deform, break, or dry out the trees. There are many different species of Christmas trees. The species best suited for Oklahoma conditions are Virginia pine, Scotch pine, and Australian pine. Eastern red cedar also grows naturally in Oklahoma, and some people harvest field grow those for use as Christmas trees. The most common type of Christmas trees grown in the U.S. are fir, pine, spruce, and cypress. For today's activity, we will be decorating Christmas cookies in the shape of a Christmas tree. You can use any sugar cookie recipe you want. I recommend placing your dough in the fridge for an hour to cool down though, because cold dough is easier to roll out and cut, and it's not as sticky. We will be making our own frosting to decorate our cookies. You will need powdered sugar, vanilla extract, light corn syrup, water, and a pinch of salt. If you do not have powdered sugar, you can put regular sugar into a blender, turn it on, and it will make powdered sugar. You also don't need the corn syrup, but it gives the icing a beautiful shine. You can add food coloring to your frosting to have different colors. Adding sprinkles to your cookies after they are frosted is also an option. Make sure you give your cookies enough time to cool down before you decorate them. If you don't, then the icing will melt off the cookie. I made mine last night, so they're already cooled down. We're going to whisk all of our ingredients into a bowl. You'll need 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of light corn syrup to give our frosting a beautiful shine, 2 tablespoons of room temperature water. You may need a little bit more based on how thick our frosting is, but we'll determine that later, and a pinch of salt. We want our frosting to be quite thick. However, if it is too thick, add half a tablespoon of water. If it is too thin, then add 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. To check if our frosting has the correct consistency, we're going to lift our whisk and let the icing drizzle off. We're going to see if the ribbon of icing will hold for a few seconds before melting back into the icing. Now I'm going to add green food coloring to my frosting. If you want multiple colors of frosting, make sure you separate your frosting into individual bowls based on how many different colors you want to use. Now I want my green to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to add a few more drops. Now that my frosting is the color that I want it to, I'm going to place it in a Ziploc baggie to pipe it onto the cookie. You can also use a piping bag, but I don't have one, so we're just going to improvise. So we're going to cut a little hole out of our Ziploc baggie and make sure it's not too big. If it's not big enough, you can always cut a bigger hole, but make sure it's not too big because it's easier to control the frosting. So now I'm going to take my sugar cookie and I'm going to move the frosting down into the corner where I cut a hole. I recommend piping an outline just because I think it helps keep my cookies cleaner, but it's up to you. Decorate it however you like. This is a time for you to be as creative as you want. You can add multiple colors. It just depends on how much frosting you make and how many colors you made. You can add sprinkles. You can draw designs with a toothpick. It's all up to you. You can either eat your cookie now, or you can wait for the icing to set so it'll be a little firmer. That'll take about 2 to 3 hours. Sugar cookies tend to stay soft for 5 days at room temperature. I've always added a slice of bread to the airtight container I keep my cookies in though, because I've noticed the cookies stay soft even longer. Today's lesson is from Oklahoma Ag in the Classroom. For more information on this lesson or for additional STEM videos, please visit 4h.okstate.edu. Thanks for watching.